Now I have to have my notes here just to make sure I get all of the story right. 2900 Jackson Street was built by Charles Milius. This was in 1894, and it was designed by an architect we talked about before, William McLaughlin, who designed the Will H. Beck House, that other large house just a couple blocks down the street. Milius was secretary of the Sioux City Sash and Door Company. Although he built this house, he never lived here. Milius never lived in the house and sold it to Franz Schenkberg. Now, Franz Schenkberg was an heir to a very large wholesale grocery company here in Sioux City, but he only lived here for a brief while and had some financial problems. His father, Conrad Schenkberg, who had started the company here in Sioux City, the Schenkberg Grocery Warehouse in the Schenkberg Grocery Company, he started it in 1882. He took over, but that was not until 1899, so this house sat vacant for about 5 years in between. They in turn sold it to William Gordon. William Gordon and turned it over in 1906 to the Eaton family. Now, I've mentioned Eaton also in the reorganization of the Sioux City Stockyards Company with Chesley. That was in 1894. Eastern creditors were irate at what had happened in Sioux City. Their investments up and vanished. So they sent the Boston Investment Company, which had been heavily investing in Sioux City, sent Fred Eaton here to help reorganize. So Eaton was here in 1894, but he was still here in 1896. He married into the Palmer family, the Edward Palmer family. They lived in this house. So Fred Eaton lived in the house from 1906 to his death in 1925. Then it was maintained still by the family, which at that time was Palmer's, from 1925 to 1967. So that's how we know, at least today, we sometimes call it the Palmer House. It was a long string of owners to get it to the way we know it. So yeah, we have Charles Milius, Franz Schenkberg, Conrad Schenkberg, William Gordon, Fred Eaton, and finally into his descendants with the Palmer family. Wow, all very prominent Sioux City families. I should add. Well, let's see. What time do we have?
Tom?
Yeah.
I've already asked you this. Do you know anything about the block behind him?
Well, I know a couple things about the block behind it. Because the Sioux City Cable Railway Company ran over there, there used to be a house on the block behind this. It become kind of run down. It was an apartment building. But before that, there's a small commercial district up here. There were a couple of brick commercial buildings right across the street from the powerhouse. You know, I didn't mention that powerhouse, in addition to powering the cable railway, also provided electric power for the street lamps that used to be along the street, as well as steam heat for some of the occupants just in this basic area. Some of the very prominent houses and prominent families we've looked at. After that, I remember that apartment building being torn down 10 years ago, and that land sitting empty, and the family who owns this house bought that land behind it and turned it into a private garden.
It's not very nice. It's incredible.
I want to see what time it is, because I've got